beautiful people. And woo, happy Mother's Day to all the beautiful mothers out there. To the biological mothers, to the stepmothers, to the bonus mothers, to the grandmothers, to the godmothers, to the aunties raising children, to the foster mothers, to the grieving mothers, and every woman carrying the emotional labor of nurturing others. Today is for you. So happy Mother's Day. But since this is Liberian Girl Unfiltered, you already know we're not about to keep this episode surface level. I am your new favorite podcaster, Stephanie Salimatu. Before we get into it, make sure you subscribe, you follow, you comment, you share. I truly appreciate it. So today's conversation might make some people a little uncomfortable. It might make others nod in agreement. And it might make a few people argue in the comments. And that's okay. It's okay for us to disagree. Just do it in a mature manner. Don't be mean. Don't be mean. Don't be a meanie. Okay, so we're going to talk about something that always seems to spark a debate every single year. The topic, ready? Ready, ready, ready? Should single mothers be celebrated on Father's Day too? I know this is not Father's Day, but whew, this topic right here. This topic starts fights every single year. Yeah, not physical. I don't know anybody who fight physically over this. It's usually, just verbal. But the funny thing is, I didn't even start thinking about how deep this topic was until a few years ago when I saw a Facebook post from a single mother wishing herself and other single mothers a happy Father's Day. And she did the post on Father's Day. It was a simple post, simple words, but baby, baby, honey, the comments section turned into a serious war zone. Some women fully agreed with her. Their argument was, hey, if I'm doing the work for both parents, then I deserve recognition on both Mother and Father's Day. And honestly, I understand where they were coming from because let's be real, single mothers carry a lot. A lot. Some are raising children with no emotional support, no financial support, no co parenting, no village. Some are working two jobs. They're paying bills alone. They're attending school, trying to better themselves in the lives of their children. They are crying alone. They're trying to figure out life all alone while still trying to make sure their children feel loved and secure. So trust me, I understand the exhaustion behind that statement. But what made the conversation interesting, you ready? What made it interesting was when the men decided to jump into the comment section and say, well, if the single mothers can celebrate Father's Day, then the single fathers should celebrate Mother's Day too. That's when the internet lost its mind because suddenly everybody got offended just from a couple of guys jumping in that comment and saying, okay, we'll celebrate Mother's Day too. And I remember thinking at this point, I say, you know what, perhaps maybe let's just cancel both holidays and just celebrate Parents Day. As Liberian people often say, some people can spoil it for everybody. Cancel the whole thing and let it be so. For those of you who don't understand that Liberian colloquial, let me rephrase it for you. Some folks are just determined to spoil a good thing for everybody. Let's cancel both days and move on. When a Liberian person tell you let it be so, if it is let it be so. We talk fast, but it means leave me alone. Let's move on. I won't talk about it. Let it be. So, but seriously, as we look at the topic, we look at the argument, why do we do this? Why do we feel the need to insert ourselves into holidays that were created to acknowledge someone else? Is it because sometimes people crave that acknowledgement so deeply that they struggle to let others have the moment? And listen, before anybody start typing their little angry comments, before you stop letting your fingers work, again, don't be me. Let me say this clearly. I was a single mother, so I'm not speaking from a place of ignorance. I understand the sacrifice. I understand carrying responsibilities that should be shared. I understand the emotional and the financial pressure of doing it mostly alone. I get it. I get it. I get it. I get it. Single mothers absolutely deserve recognition. They deserve flowers, they deserve vacations, they deserve therapy, they deserve rest, they deserve appreciation. But, and oh, but, my question is, can't all of that happen on Mother's Day? Because at the end of the day, even if a mother plays both roles, she's still a mother. And the same goes for single fathers. You know, a father raising children alone deserves respect. Two, they put the two there. A father sacrificing alone deserves honor too. A father emotionally showing up every day deserves acknowledgement too. But that acknowledgement should happen on Father's Day. Now, let's kind of sidebar and talk about the history of Mother's Day before most, because I know most people don't know where the holiday came from. And now, so in Liberia, Mother's Day is celebrated on the second Sunday in May, just like in the United States. Much of Liberia's celebrated traditions were influenced by the American culture and customs because of our history and our ties to America. And as we get into the podcast, I would try to give you like little snippets of Liberia's history and just how it ties in to the American history. But Mother's Day wasn't originally about brunches and balloons and spa packages and social media captions, right? The roots of Mother's Day is actually a bit deeper. Let's go back to the 1800s. In 1870, a lady by the name of Julia Ward Howe, this woman was a woman's right activist. She called what she called for a day called Mother's Day for Peace after witnessing the devastation of wars, and specifically the wars that we're talking about, it's the American Civil War and the Franco-Prussian War, which were actually happened way on the other side of the world. The men didn't do what you're fighting. They were fighting. Men were just fighting. They're losing their minds. They were fighting. The American Civil War, which took place between 1861 and 1865, was a conflict between the northern states, which were called the Union, and the southern states, which was called the Confederacy. Of course, the South won. They don't believe they won, even in 2026, but we'll leave that there. But the war with, the Civil War was really a division over slavery and economic differences. You know what? All that thing about economic differences, forget it. You know exactly when we say economic, people start struggling to think. Don't think economic. The primary cause of the Civil War it was a dispute over the institution of slavery. Specifically, the South wanted to expand slavery into the Western territories because, as we know, what America was in the 1800s is not what it is today. So they wanted to expand slavery. The North said no. They fought. The South lost, blah blah blah. Here we are now. The Franco-Prussian War, this other war was happening we're on the other side of the world, and it was a conflict between the French Empire and North German Confederation. Ugh, get it out. So now, with all this war going on, remember in the 1800s there were men that were going to fight. So mothers saw their husbands, brothers, fathers, dying in this war. And Julia believed women, especially mothers, had the power to influence peace and unity in society. Hmm, does that sound familiar? Let me just tell you about a Nobel Peace Prize winner and a Liberian girl named Lema Bowie in the documentary called Pray the Devil Back to Hell. Now, that is a whole nother story for a whole nother day. So imagine in 1800, the women were still calling for peace. You fast forward to 2000, 2003, you still got women crying and fighting for peace. But we'll talk about Lima Bowie and the documentary Pray the Devil Back to Hell on a different day. Beautiful story, very similar to this. I think it's even more powerful than this. But I'm a Liberian girl, so I'm a little biased. Anyway, back to this. So this Mother's Day for Peace was happening in some parts of the world. It wasn't really noon, um, but it didn't take shape until another woman by the name of Ann Jarvis organized mothers in communities to help improve public health and care for families. So after she died, her daughter wanted to create a national holiday dedicating to honoring her mother and other mothers. Yeah. So they made it a holiday, but when they made it a holiday, they made it a holiday in around 1914. Okay, so many, many years later, it became a holiday. But Anna, who fought for this holiday, she became so obsessed because she started to see how Mother's Day was commercialized, and they weren't focusing on the actual meaning of the day. They had turned it into this money making business, and she was not happy with it. But I know today she will probably be rolling in her grave. Anna, honey, Anna. Mother's Day today has become a big business, baby. Restaurants are packed, flowers sold out, people stress over gifts, Instagram flooded with picture perfect posts, um, and fights about who's supposed to be celebrating it on that day. And meanwhile, there are mothers who are silently exhausted. They are grieving, they're struggling, and they are unappreciated every other day of the year except one Sunday in May. So perhaps, Anna girl, you had a point. But anyway, back to the Mother Father's Day debate. So one thing I find interesting is that I mostly hear women loudly, they're claiming Father's Day because they play both roles. I don't usually hear men doing the same thing when Mother's Day come around, except for that little comment area when the men jump into the comments section and all hell broke loose. But I usually don't get this a lot from men. So, and I've always wondered why. Because truthfully, there are fathers out there doing everything too. They're cooking, they're cleaning, they're braiding hair, they're helping with homework, they're showing emotional support, they're working overtime, they're being fully present, right? Yet many of them, they sit quietly and they wait for Father's Day without trying to take over Mother's Day too. Now, don't get me wrong. Do not get me wrong. Like I've said, there are mothers who are actually in two-parent household carrying most of the emotional and physical labor. And honestly, that's a whole nother conversation, right? Because some women are technically married and partner, but they're still functioning like a single mother emotionally. But even then, they're still mothers. And if anything, they deserve to be celebrated bigger on Mother's Day and not transfer over into Father's Day. Personally, I think both motherhood and fatherhood deserve their own space. I believe men and women bring equal value to parenting, even if those contributions sort of look a little different. And I know sometimes people get uncomfortable when we acknowledge the importance of fathers, but fathers matter. Healthy fathers matters, present fathers matter, emotional fathers, emotional people who are available for their children, they matter. And sometimes it almost feel like we intentionally diminish the role of men when we act as though motherhood automatically replaces fatherhood. It doesn't. A mother can do an incredible job raising children alone, but that doesn't make her a father. And a father raising children alone doesn't make him a mother. The roles may overlap in responsibilities, but identity still matters. Now, personally, I've never celebrated Father's Day for myself, not once. Even during the years I was doing almost everything alone, because I believe Father's Day wasn't about me. It was about celebrating my father. It was about celebrating my children's father. It was about celebrating my grandfathers, the uncles, the brothers, the mentors, the men who deserve acknowledgement and appreciation. And maybe that perspective is shaped by how I view family and gender roles, and that's key. But that's my truth. So, to me, in certain to me, When you insert yourself into somebody else's holiday, it feels like showing up at somebody's birthday party, trying to blow out their candles because their birthday is next week. Like, ma'am, sir, please, this is not your cake. This is not your party. Please have a seat, sit down, relax. Now, if your children want to give you that extra love on, Mother's Day because they appreciate everything you do, that's beautiful. If your household chooses to honor you that way, beautiful. Every family dynamic is very different. But publicly trying to redefine Father's Day into Single Mother's Appreciation Day just feels so unnecessary to me. And here's the ironic part. You ready for this? There's an actual National Parents Day. That's a day dedicated for both parents together, right? And most people don't even know this exists. It was established in 1994 and is celebrated on the fourth Sunday of July to honor parents as a whole. That's a thought. But nobody really pays attention to it because apparently we only want holidays that where we get flowers, gifts, social media attention, and blah blah blah, right? So I know Miss Anna. Anna, she's still rolling in her grave, girlfriend. At the end of the day, though, I can understand both perspectives. I understand why some single mothers feel they deserve acknowledgement for carrying double responsibilities. And I also understand why many fathers, especially good fathers, feel protective over the little recognition society gives them on Father's Day. So maybe the real answer is this: every household gets to decide how they celebrate. If your children wants to honor you for everything you've done, receive it with love. But personally, I still believe mothers deserve Mother's Day and fathers deserve Father's Day. And maybe, just maybe, we need to get better at celebrating people without needing to take over someone else's moment. That's just my opinion. And if you disagree, that's okay too. This is Liberian Girl Unfiltered, after all, okay? So, fathers, I beg you, I hold your foot in my Liberian. Well, you don't go celebrating the Mother's Day. If for us, when Father's Day come, we will recognize you, okay? So, happy Father's Day. I'm still stuck on the Father's Day. Father's Day, Father's Day. It's Mother's Day, baby. Happy Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day to all the amazing mothers out there. And don't forget to subscribe, to share this episode. Yeah, please share it. Leave a comment. Join the conversation, right? I want to hear from you. And don't forget, do not forget to follow all my shenanigans on IG at Liberian Girl 76 and on Facebook, Liberian Girl Unfiltered. So again, Liberian Girl 76, that's on IG, and Facebook is Liberian Girl Unfiltered. To not be me, I have to remind some folks to be mature. Okay, so I already know this comment section is about to be active. So until next time, show up fully, speak boldly, love deeply, live intentionally, be kind. I am Stephanie Salamatu, and I can't wait to see you on the next episode of Liberian Girl Unfiltered.